Hey guys, welcome to another homeschool video. On my previous homeschooling video, there was quite a bit of interest in regards to what choices I have made for curriculum, what choices, generally picking what you're gonna teach, how you're gonna teach is hard. And I'm a complete noob. I've been homeschooling for about 6 weeks now, so I am not an expert in any possible way, shape, or form, but I did think that I can share my curriculum with you guys and kind of share, as a complete noob, why I went with these choices and how we're kind of progressing from that point. Make sense? So before I jump into that, I'm going to very quickly preface, we are registered for homeschooling in Australia, specifically the state of Victoria. I am currently in Greece, so we are an international homeschooling family trying to homeschool in a country where homeschooling is not really a thing. So getting certain books, getting certain curriculums, getting supplies is not as easy because it's not as readily available. A lot of the course books, a lot of the things that I would have wanted to try out, the shipping just cost an arm and a leg. So my choices have been heavily impacted by that, but I did, at the end of the day, I did pick the ones that I wanted to start with at least. And then I know one thing that I really have started learning about homeschooling as we've progressed is it is very flexible. And you can change at any minute. If you feel that you need to change something for your child, you change it. You don't just stick with it because, oh, I got this course book and now I have to stick to it. You will do what is best for your child and you will work around their needs and their learning style and just everything that helps both you and them basically flourish. So let me show you guys what I have decided, what I have picked for this year. Technically this year for us, I am thinking we're going to be doing all-round homeschooling, like all year round. We started in May, so the Australian school system is from February to December. The Greek school system is September to June. So I'm kind of thinking along the lines of 2023, like May to December right now, and then just kind of go from there. Okay, so this is this year. Because pretty much the curriculum I've chosen and the way we're kind of working through it, I feel like we will have finished it by December or at least very early January. So I think that'll kind of then have our year kind of on a yearly basis, if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. Let's jump into the curriculum. So English, language arts. English is what we call it in Australia, language arts for US. We started out with kindergarten prep from The Good and the Beautiful. This is the final part of their preschool year, and I decided to do this with her because I didn't want her to have any gaps, pretty much. Technically in Australia, she's a prep. Age-wise, she would be grade 1, but we had kept her back for various reasons. So she is normal prep, just a slightly older prep, which is the equivalent of kindergarten in the US. So all of her subjects are pretty much kindergarten level, but she is flying through them. So she is kind of kindergarten / grade 1, really, at the rate she's going. So I decided to go with this one and kind of work through it really quickly. We finished this in 0 time. Like it took us, it's 30 lessons. We pretty much did 1 a day, sometimes even 2 a day. We were done with it within a month because this is where they start blending sounds. So this is the book that The Good and the Beautiful start blending their sounds and bringing 2 letters together. And she had never done blending at all. She knew her alphabet, she knew her sounds, she knew her vowels, her consonants, all that kind of thing, but she had never blended before. She had kind of started doing a little bit here and there randomly, but not really, like not properly. So I wanted to make sure that we got the foundation in, even if we just kind of flew through it, which is what we did, and that way I felt more comfortable. So once we were done with this, we have now started doing this one, and this is like the proper full-on language arts curriculum. Now, bear in mind, I have bound these by myself. I have printed them. I get the PDF versions, which actually are free on the Good and the Beautiful website. So the kindergarten prep is not free. I had to actually purchase this. I purchased the PDF version. The language arts from level K up until I believe grade 6 is free on their website, the PDF version. So I did go with that, not because it was free, but because I liked the colors and because I liked the fact that it was a PDF and I was able to actually get it right away, print it out myself, bind it, without having to pay an arm and a leg for shipping. Because that was really, when you have to pay literally double the price of the course curriculum just to get it shipped to you. Plus, any books that you order could take anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks, if not more, to get to you. So that was really not an option initially. Being where I am, I really had to go with PDF versions of the course books that I wanted. So some of the ones that I didn't end up choosing right now were also PDF versions. But back to what I like to go with. So I keep kind of rambling off. So this is the kindergarten language arts, and it does cover things like phonics, writing, reading, grammar, punctuation, spelling, literature, geography, and art. I'm probably gonna skip over the geography parts because they are US based, and I'd rather do Australian and Greek geography with her. But so far, phonics, the writing, like the things that we've come across, we've started doing spelling. I am not 100% sure I like the spelling. We will see. It's what I said about how you start realizing how flexible homeschooling is, and that you do have options when you don't like something about like a specific curriculum. Anyway, to the point. Language arts. I am liking it though. I do like the way it's really colorful. It's really like, it attracts you. It makes you want to like work in it. It makes you want to do things in it. Because it's just so cute. And I did, so there are 3 units to this book, which, yes, I got them. There are 3 units to the book, so it's like 300 something pages. I printed out unit 1 pretty much and bound it because I am using thicker paper because when I started printing on normal paper, it just started bleeding through like crazy. So bound it myself, printed it myself, laminated the covers. I'm very proud of my work, I have to say. I'm very proud of my handiwork. But yes, this is the main course book, and it does come with, so bear in mind, all of these can be purchased from the website as hard copies, like proper little booklets, cards, etc. I printed everything myself. So it then comes with this booster card little booklet. These are normally in card form, like cardstock form. I printed them out on the same paper I printed out the book pretty much, and it kind of does the same job. So this is literally how they learn how to read with the Good and the Beautiful. You've got like the pyramids where you kind of hide and kind of go down, or you have like here where you're kind of blending the first 2 and then you go into the next one. It's quite interesting. And each lesson, like once you reach lesson 8, I believe, you need to have finished reading like booster card 3 and so forth. So this is kind of how you learn to read with the Good and the Beautiful. So far, so good. We are starting to read CVC words, which are consonant, vowel, consonant words. So 3-letter words. Yeah, I feel like I'm constantly questioning everything. I am happy with it because it's working. So far it is working. I will give it that. I'm quite happy with it in that aspect. I'm just constantly questioning, like, you know, if this is what I want to move forward with, how well it's working, that kind of thing. Now, it also comes with a bunch of little books, little readers. These little readers are pretty much little paper readers that you staple together. I decided to not staple them. I decided to just print them out and bind them with like my smallest little binding coils. And I even laminated the outside just for fun. Like, it wasn't really. And they're just little books with very, very, very simple, like, I dig. That's pretty much it. I zip it. I am on top. It's like very simple, easy little booklets for them to start reading, basically. And there's like a whole bunch of these, and I printed and bound, I think I printed and bound the ones that were up to unit 1. Since I printed unit 1 of the book, I also did the little booklets of that as well. And then we also do handwriting as well. For her handwriting, again, the Good and the Beautiful. This one, again, I purchased normally the PDF version. I actually really like this. I feel like, as far as like a handwriting book is concerned, you know, I mean, it's pretty cute. She like these little pictures that they do. Like, look at that. So it's got like tracing, and then it also has like a little coloring and activity underneath each one. They're pretty cute. It's pretty cute. I did print it in the technically original size. Like, the original is like, there's a bit extra here, a bit extra here. I didn't mind that. I wanted it to be close to the original size. So it's like a nice small handwriting book, and that's what I wanted it to be. So it took me quite a while to print and do all this stuff like that. Yeah. So that's the handwriting book that we're doing. So she's learning how to read. She's doing her handwriting. Phonics she pretty much had under wraps. So she's kind of doing a bit more of that in this book. Moving on to maths. Again, Be Good and the Beautiful. Maths level K. This is also free. The PDF version is free. So I just printed, laminated, bound it myself, and that is what I pretty much paid for this book. I do like this. Yes, I do like this book. It does have, like, it's really fun and colorful. I did want to do it, so in maths, she could technically go on to level, like, grade 1. However, I was, again, afraid of gaps, etc., because she hasn't ever really done any formal school work. I kind of wanted to kind of fly through this one, rather, and just make sure I cover all the bases, and then move on to grade 1, rather skip completely. We have gotten through, so again, I've had to print half and half. So this is literally half the book, and it's quite, you know, half the book. We have another, so this is 60 lessons worth, and then there are another 60 lessons in another book that we're going to be starting pretty much next week at this point. We have gotten through like 50 something lessons at this stage, and she can comfortably do 2 lessons, even 3 a day, because they're just so simple, so easy. So a lot of people do talk about The Good and the Beautiful, saying that there's a lot of fluff in their maths book. I will say there is definitely a lot of fluff in the maths book. I have skipped over it pretty much every time. Like the stories and all that kind of thing. I just kind of do the work with her and not all the little storytelling, etc. Unless absolutely necessary, like unless there's no way of doing the lesson without the fluff. I had initially said that, like I told myself, we'll go with this because I'm pretty sure I can just skip over anything I don't need. But if it gets too much, I might have to look into my second option, that I had thought of. So yeah, for now, this is what we're doing. It is pretty good. I'm really happy with it, like as far as like her doing the work, and you know, it's a spiral learning method, not a mastery learning method. Yeah, it's, you know, jury's still not out on this one. I'm kind of working through, I find that the more you work through things and you use things, that's when you realize 100% what works best for you. You can't possibly know 100% what will work for you unless you try it out. And that's the main thing with this video, that as a complete noob, I do love The Good and the Beautiful. I love it because it's just easy. Everything is here. This is all you need. It does have like a little maths box that comes with it, but because I had the PDF version and I wasn't about to pay like an arm and a leg to have a little box shipped to me, I do have other supplies, maths supplies that I use for our maths. But all in all, I'm finding, as a first-time homeschooling mama, this is really good. Like it just tells you what to do, tells you what to say, guides you through it. I'm quite happy with that aspect. Like I'm happy that I started out with this because I feel like it's a really good introduction to getting into homeschooling. So that's, yeah. Now, when it comes to science, so as I said, Australia, Victoria specifically, has 8 learning areas you need to cover, which I will be picking up a lot more from September, I believe. And we'll kind of see how we go. Over the summer, I feel like it's just, yeah, summer's a bit, you know, it's hot and everything is just kind of all over the place. So I didn't want to introduce more subjects before we kind of had a good grasp on the fact that we are homeschooling and we're kind of getting into routine, and we're still working on that. But I did want to add a little bit of science, just a little bit. So I decided to go with The Good and the Beautiful, Little Hands, Little Heart science. And it's kind of a simple little, it has like these colorful little like lessons like this, where this is the parent manual, technically, like the parent guide. And you have some discussion questions, you have a little bit of information, and then there are like videos you can watch on the website, on the Good and the Beautiful app. You watch the videos, you have this book here, this book here. So this is the big book of science stories. Big book. As you can see, this isn't very big. I started printing this out to be a big A4 book. and for some reason my printer decided to go with A5. So since it got to quite far into the printing process and it has a lot of ink, like a lot of ink, I was like, you know what, okay, our big book will just have to be this. So this is a book of stories that kind of correlate with some of the lessons, and then some of the lessons have videos. I have found that they do prefer, because Iris kind of joins in on these kind of things as well. I have found that they do prefer the videos rather than the stories. The stories are quite wordy for like young children, for children who are just kind of, you know, they want to learn about science in a more hands-on way. It's not very hands-on. I just wanted kind of an introduction to doing something and being like, this is what we're doing for science. I don't know. I'm still kind of deciding on how this is going to go. I feel like once we're through it, we are kind of working through it. I feel like if we do a few more lessons, I will have a bit more of a clear idea of how happy I am or not with that. I'm kind of still deciding. But yeah, so that is pretty much what we are doing right now for our curriculum. Basic language arts, English, so phonics, handwriting, blending words, that kind of thing, blending letters, sorry. As well as our math, which, you know, we're kind of really flying through the maths. I feel like we'll be done very, very quickly with maths and moving on to grade 1 in no time. But anyway, I am constantly learning. I'm constantly changing my opinion on the things that we're doing, on what I want to do in the future. Homeschooling is very, very flexible, and I am still learning to not make it school, to make it homeschool, to make it ours, basically. But yeah, that is all for this video. I've already rambled on for way, way longer than I thought I would. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.